Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Lazer and today we're gonna be talking about Riven Disposition. Yes, they changed it. Oh no, my wonderful Rivens, what happened to them? Guys, I'll be honest with you, I had Rivens for most of the weapons that just got nerfed, but I'm not really all that bothered about it, and I'll explain exactly why that is. But first things first, some of you don't know what Rivens are or what Riven Disposition is. Let's take a look quickly at my favorite bow in the game, the Dread, and you will see Riven Disposition of 3 out of 5. What does that mean anyway? The Riven Disposition controls the amount of stats you're going to be getting on your Riven. So the higher the Riven Disposition, the bigger the stats. Riven Disposition is controlled by weapon popularity. The more popular a weapon is, therefore the stronger the weapon is, let's be honest, the lower the Riven Disposition. That means that your stats on Rivens won't be that high. But if a weapon is unpopular, then the Riven Disposition will be high, therefore the stats will go through the roof. Now, unfortunately, this is a manual system in 2018. Yes, that's not exactly ideal, so DE have to manually adjust this Riven Disposition, and shame on you DE, it only happens very rarely. So when it does happen, you can see a bit of a, well, aggressive reaction from Riven owners. So let's take a look over on the forums and see exactly what got buffed, what got nerfed, and so on and so forth. And don't worry about it, link in the description down below if you want to see the full list. I'll post a link to the forum when you can see each and every weapon and what kind of changes they got. There we go. Now first things first, melee weapons have not been touched, and DE went on to say that that will happen in Melee 3.0. So we're going to be seeing a Riven rebalancing for melee weapons in Melee 3.0. You're not going to notice any change bigger than one little ball. Now that little ball is an easy way for us to understand exactly how powerful a Riven is, but as you can see the numbers are actually a whole lot more, well, in depth than that. And keep in mind that no Riven was changed more than 0.2. For example, the Amprax, one of the most powerful weapons in the game and one of my favorites, went down to a 0.85 from a 0.96. The Arconac went up to 1.1, the Bratton went up to 1.1 as well. So once again, in your arsenal, you're not going to be noticing anything other than plus or minus one little ball, so bear that one in mind. The Buzzlock went down as well. This has been a very popular weapon for Eidolon hunts recently. Some players absolutely love it, but for example, my favorite bow in the game, the Dread, did get a small buff. The Ferox went up, the Grakata went up as well as the twin Grakatas, Hema, and so on and so forth. Now let's talk about the more expensive Rivens out there. The Lanka went down to a 0.95. Now that is a noticeable decrease in Riven Disposition, and so did the Rubico, from a 1.1 to a 0.95. Now of course a lot of you will be a little bit angry because hey, I paid a lot of money for this Riven, I paid a lot of plat. Unfortunately, as I always said, Rivens are not really required, and while I understand the proud of ownership or the resources you invested, these are still video game items, guys, and you shouldn't really get all that attached to it. And trust me, I own Rivens for 80% of these weapons, so I felt the burn. The Arca Plasmor, one of the most popular shotguns in the game, went down by a whole 0.2, the maximum that DE changed. And they also went on to say that they didn't change Riven Disposition for weapons that only had a slight modification in popularity, so they were a little bit lenient on us. The Corinth went up, however, which is a fantastic weapon and I do highly recommend it. Now this doesn't mean that your Rivens are worthless, god no. For example, the Tiburon, yes, we remember the OP-ness of the Tiburon, having your cake and eating it too. The Tiburon went down from a 1.5 to a 1.3. That means from Riven Disposition 5 down to Riven Disposition 4. So let's have a look at the Tiburon. Are Tiburon Rivens worthless? I had one of my viewers come up to me and say, Lazer, oh no, my Tiburon is worthless now. No, it is not. Here you go, 108% multi-shot with 155.3% critical damage. Once again, this is a Riven Disposition of 4 now. Your Rivens are not worthless. Definitely not. Now let's talk about another topic which I feel is just a tad more important than this one. They are removing sentinel weapons. We have removed sentinel weapons from Riven Disposition pool. That means that you're not going to be getting any more Rivens for your sentinels. So by all intents and purposes, guys, I would grab one that is cheap right now, because existing Rivens for sentinel weapons will not be removed from your inventory. So you avoid the whole thing with the Artex, you know how much A Riven cost right now for the Artex is like 20, 30, 40,000 plat, simply because you can't get it anymore. So I would get one for each Sentinel weapon before the prices go way too high, as they will not be dropping. And well, I believe that's pretty much it. Again, the full list is in the description down below, and keep in mind that even the Heck got a Riven Disposition increase from 0.5 to 0.7, I believe. Yeah, 0.55 to 0.7, which will make it easier in the case of the Head for us to get that 100% status chance. I haven't run the math yet, but also they went on to say that they did not touch something like the comb, simply because Riven Disposition is a big part of the weapon getting 100% status chance, so they even had things like this in mind. Now, to be a bit more realist with you guys, cool your jets. I do understand that you are upset by these changes, but you knew they were coming. I can't really blame DE, but what I can blame them for just a little bit is that this change, these modifications to Riven Disposition don't happen a whole lot more often. In my humble opinion, it should be an automatic system that refreshes itself every month or so, just to keep things under control. Now, you might also say, hey, why didn't we know about this? I would have sold my Rivens, I would have bought Rivens for this and that. Well, the reason is they didn't want anybody taking advantage of the market. Again, the Rivens are here simply to balance out weapons, to give unpopular weapons a fighting chance, and to tone down the power of very powerful weapons. And well, I believe that that's gonna do it for now. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you have any feedback for me, then by all means, leave it in the comment section down below. But until next time, my friends, bye bye.